Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. This is the Thousand Year Reich series. We are heading into September of 1943, and we'll just go ahead and get started. No declaration of war. Economies. Yeah, just watch all the counters move around. And they gave one to Italy and one to Turkey. And one to... No, just Italy and Turkey. Okay, the British are at 16, the Russians are at 19. We go into strategic warfare against the West. I have a couple bombed markers in Germany, so I'm at +4. He's at +5. He rolls a 6 + 5. It's an 11. And I rolled a 10, so yay me. Now we go to strategic movement for the Germans. And he brings... We couldn't remember where that guy came from. He picked him up when he picked up the unit that he moved over into Norway. Here, this Finnish garrison. I think I had one with the West, the Soviets. Go ahead and move their airplane up to the front line. And then we are into Axis operations. So he played his surprise attack marker. And he's going to be doing some air combats here. Rolled a 6, and since I'm -3, I'm going to take 2. Then he flew the Italians to fight. He brought an infantry unit with him. That garrison's not supposed to be there. Then he decided not to do that. Instead, he decided to take an airplane from the east and fly it into here. German aircraft. And then he went and took out the other. He's trying to take out all the British aircraft because he doesn't want to have to deal with them. And then he flew that airplane back to Germany since he's got 5 sorties on it. Now, we finally remember to take bomb markers out of Germany, and I think he finally does his attack here. So he's got, cost him 5 movement points to do this. 1 for the unit, 2 for the city, 2 for the strait. And he'll be -3 coming across the strait, then +1 for the surprise attack markers, so he'll be 7. He's +4. Because he's 4 -3 +1. I am not sure what we're doing here. Throws in an airplane. Yeah, so he's total of 7 -3. So he's at a 4, and I'm at a 3. He rolled a 10. I managed to roll a 6 with him. So I managed to hold on the first round of combat. And then he did it again, and he rolled a 1 + 4, which is a 5, and I rolled a 5. So that took care of that. This German moves down here. This German moves into Basra, because I'm kind of poised to do an invasion. If I ever get a surprise attack marker, puts the Turk. He doesn't put the Turk in Kuwait, he puts it outside of Kuwait. The reason why he does this move here, if I were to invade here, I could invade to this hex and then attack there at isolation, which would pretty much guarantee that I could take it. And he didn't want to deal with losing a Turk that way. So, and then more Turks moving to the east, to the Russian front. He decided not to move that one. He wanted to move this one down here instead. And not sure what he's doing with that airplane. Oh, I think he's going after an American bomber, maybe. Or is he going after my bomber or my airplane? Not sure which. Anyway, he rolled a 1. Because the surprise attack marker, the reason why he's only -1 instead of 2, because the surprise attack marker isn't a +1. So he rolled a 1, and I rolled a 6 -3 with my Americans. So he took 2, I took 1. This German decided not to do anything with him. Now he's just moving things up towards the front. And moved that guy into Edinburgh because he didn't want me to invade behind him. Moves him down towards Spain. This guy moves into Nitz. Oh, now I think he's doing his, since I don't have anything that can intercept him, he's just doing his supply on his fleets for England. Supplied all 4. And he supplied the Italian. Not sure if he supplied the German. Can't remember. Yeah, he supplied the German too. Okay. And then we go into Western Action subphase. The West does have a surprise attack marker, paratroopers, a couple tanks markers, a lot of stuff in my build queue, and I just don't have the points to get everything out. So, and you'll see that the Germans are doing, I mean, they basically only spent 3. They spent 3. Why is this still up to 25? That's not correct. Oh, I guess we messed up there. Anyway, I bring this transport in, said, "You want to intercept me?" He says, "Nah." So I go into there. And then checking his interception range. Because I have a bomber that he didn't touch. So I decide to just fly my bomber here. Just his first chance to attack me. He was with the Italian, he's 3 -2. So he missed. And he decided not to attack me again. I came again. He said, "Nah, just go ahead. I'll take the 2 bombed hits." And then played the surprise attack marker in the Irish Sea. And then I declared the invasion hex to be Liverpool. I said, "You can intercept me here if you want." And so he went ahead and threw out his submarines and his surface action. His surface action, but I don't think he played his submarines with it. Did he? No. So Why is my fleet only... Then he throws in his submarines, which makes me -2. So I end up at a net +1 to his +1. He rolled a 6. I rolled a 2. So I take 2 sorties. And then the convoy goes ahead and keeps going. So it's +2 for American, -2 for convoy, -1 for sortie, +1 for surprise attack marker. So he's at a 0 to his 0. That was his submarines coming right back. And then he rolled a 2 +0, which means that I'm going to get through, so the invasion goes through. I land in Liverpool. Since there's nobody opposing me, I should be out 3 turns. October, November, December, right. And why am I not moving? Oh. He tried to invade and hit me with his airplane, and he rolled a... He was -2 for sorties, +2 for German. He would have been +1. My fleet would have been 0. Not a -1. I would have been 2. Anyway, the invasion succeeds. I go into Liverpool and take Manchester. Then I pick up the 5th Task Force and fly out here. So you can intercept me if you want. He's like, you'll just end up there anyway. I flew my airplane into England. Put the fleet out there. Over this way. Then I took the 4th fleet and put it out here. And this convoy picked up the airplane and then moved over here, stopped, picked up the airplane, moved back to the Arabian Sea. So I'm poised to go after either Suez or Kuwait area when I get another surprise attack marker in a couple turns. Now I'm into the Soviets. Just swapped a couple infantry units around. Thought about it and I said, you know, it doesn't really matter. So I just put them back. And I just did that one move and said it was done. No supply phase, nobody takes anything off. Replacements for the Axis. Obviously, just to protect his airplanes. Gets back his airplanes. I think he put a couple Germans there, doing the Italians. And then we are into the west. What was that? That was the RAF and the Bomber Command. And the Americans down there. To do the Americans. And mobilization for the Axis. It builds an Italian and a German. And a German. The British go ahead and build the 8th Army in Liverpool so that they have ground units inside England now. And then I built home garrison over in Eastern North America rather. And so we went through the mobilization phases. We got the diplomacy phase for Axis. And he didn't have any points. He decided not to do anything this turn. He spent all his points on other things, I guess. Even if he had the points, I think he was to the point of saying, I really don't have anything, there's nothing I can get except Bulgaria, and he didn't want to take the chance of getting a failure or whatever. So then we go into the West. I went ahead and pulled and got a political success. So I said, what the heck, let's started to put a German Fuhrer marker and changed it to a Western. The Soviets went and put the thing back in the cup. So I have a chance next turn of getting Dublin. Now we're doing end of turn phase stuff, I think. Yeah, I got an armored unit for the Russians to build. Got a couple ultras. He got submarines back, my bomber, and he got a garrison to build. And then we are moving into October. So now we will do the weather die roll. So pull up those things. Turn off these things. And the weather die roll was a 364. 364 in October is poor, severe, and poor. So, lousy weather everywhere. Which is good for me because that means he's not likely to be able to actually kill these British units. He chose not to declare war. We forgot to do the American surprise attack marker. We had left it in the sea. It's like, no, it's supposed to be put out 4 turns. From September, that's October, November, December, January 44, I'll get it back. No declarations of war. This is just us moving the counters around again. Germans are at 36. Why is he? He's at 14 plus 4, 18. Should be at 36, not 26. I don't know why he has himself so low. Anyway, we are into the strategic warfare versus the West. I had 2 bombers, so I'm at plus 4 to his plus 5. Did we have? We had combat commitment. So we both committed. So we're gonna my ultra and his sub. He rolled a 1 plus 5 halved to a 3. I rolled a 1 plus 4 halved to a 3. So, and then his came back in 6 turns. Mine comes back in 2. And now we're just strategic movement. I have no idea what he did here. Oh, he picked something up and moved it off to the east, I think. Yeah, the German aircraft that had 4 on it should have had. And then he has the armored unit move out 1, 2, 3, 4. I just can't do it that way. But he still could get there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by going through here, and still have 4 left to attack Manchester, which is what he's trying to do. That was the other thing I built with the British. Besides the 8th Army, I also built another fighter. So I have 2 4-strength fighters and a 4-strength bomber to try and defend my units. But it's severe, so I don't get to use those. So he goes ahead and he's 0. And I think he's attacking Liverpool. He rolled a 3. I did not roll 1 or 2. So he stopped there. This convoy brought an infantry unit in and ended up going back there, and then he brings in the Italians, and this is a mistake on our part. He lands there, which he can't do. We'll fix this in a minute. It's actually going to be the garrison unit that's going to end up in Plymouth. I did go ahead and try and intercept him with the 4th Fleet. He ended his turn there. Then the Italian fleet moved with an infantry unit, which I did try to intercept, but failed miserably. Actually, I think I succeeded on the first one. Yeah. That guy ended in Newcastle, and he ended him in Hull. And then he moved that German infantry unit into there. And I think this is where, somewhere in here I'm going to say he did something wrong. I don't remember when I actually realized that he couldn't do what he did. Here it is. So I told him, no, you got to put that one back and take the guy that was in Gibraltar. It would be the same thing. And he decides to move the real Spanish south and put a Vichy. Have the Vichy guard their French borders. It's like, okay, whatever. Started to think about that. Move Italian in. Moves the Yugoslav out. He's trying to get garrisons out of being in the front line. That moves the Italian in. He's got Italians holding the front. Now we're into West supply phase. I don't think I've bothered. You let him go to low supply. Supplied the armor, supplied the infantry, and let the Italian or the Spanish go to low supply. And he let, of course, his people in North Africa have to go to low supply because they don't have a choice in the Middle East. And the Germans are up to 6. This convoy's up to 5. This convoy's up to 5. So he's getting low on supply here. And it's the British turn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And move that airplane down. Had a convoy come over here. Moved that airplane into Belfast and then left. Picked up the 5th Army and moved into Liverpool. And went back to the box. Then I picked up, this guy picked up the 1st armored, put it there. It goes back to the box. And I think that was, oh, this is us, I'm checking him for bombing runs. And, oh, I had the fighter go ahead and whack that German. Since we each had one sortie and severe, that was the best way to do it. That was me showing him what I thought I was going to do, but he decided no. He did it different. So I started counting and went all the way in this way. He said, what about this airplane? I said, I didn't know that airplane existed. So I said, instead, then I would move the British, because we're halved. He is a net of 0 and halved. Best he can get's a 3. He didn't roll a 6 on the first one, so it didn't matter, so I got him for 2 sorties from that one. And then I flew in this American aircraft and said, just run them up. And then we went to the bombing. He said, go ahead. He said, go ahead. I ran in another one. He said, go ahead. I don't know why he didn't use the Italians just to run me up so I couldn't get 4 bombed markers, but he chose not to do that. Maybe he did it at this point. He ended up with a 3 half to a 2, and I got through and he didn't want to take any more sorties, so we were done. And basically the Soviets didn't have anything to do. They have everybody exactly pretty much where they want them, so we just skipped through that. Replacements for the Axis, obviously his airplanes, and his convoys. Now I'm doing the West. Get back my bombers and all my Americans, of course. I think I brought back the British fighter there, too. And then he bought back his surprise attack marker. He wanted to have it for 44 in the summer turns of 44, so it's going to be back in February. Because he's not interested in doing anything diplomatic. There's only Bulgaria and Ireland left, so it's kind of like, what's the point? And I kind of agree with him. And in the West, I get to build the Americans, and I build a garrison unit there, and the Soviets build their armored unit. I thought about, well, maybe it needs to go in Rostov or whatever, and then I said, you know, I think I'm going to mess with his brain, and I'm going to put it way the hell down here. Just to see if I can draw a real German unit here or something. Anyway, we go to diplomacy. The Germans skipped out. Right. So, the West pulled a no event. Drat. And then the Soviets I don't think they even bothered to pull, which was wrong of me. I didn't want to take the chance of getting a political success and having to less chances for the. I probably got one more turn at least in November. So we're going to try and see if we can't sneak Ireland in on the Allied side, which would be just cute. Now we're doing end of turn stuff, so we're coming up on the end of this video here. This has got. I think he got his submarines out of that. I got another surprise attack marker. They come about every 2 turns here. Both the British and the Russians are going to get a factory here. They're Lend-Lease. So, and the Germans are going to get one in December. So the British and the up to 6, the Russians are up to 5. So the Russians actually have 20 factories when you count. So they'll have 20 points next turn. Once they get into war, that'll go down by 1 because of the factory loss marker coming onto the board. But right now, they're doing okay. The British are up to 6 and 3 and 9. So they're at, 18, which is okay. They're like a versatile minor to the Americans rather than being a real major power. Then we go get the American stuff off the turn track. A bunch of stuff to roll. And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 die rolls. And I got a 6 of 5, and for the first time in a very long time, I got more low numbers than I got high numbers. A 3, 1, 3, 2, 2. So as we place them, the carrier comes in next May. The convoy comes in next April, so that's going to hurt me on sea lift. The American 7th comes in February. The 9th comes right away. The first French comes in February, and then the 7th and the airplane come in there. Where's the... I'm confused. I should... Oh, that's the 3rd, I'm sorry. Patton and the French come in February. So I'll have a bunch of ground units available for the summer of 44 if I can figure out a way to pull off an invasion someplace. And then we go into the weather for the next turn. Bring these things up. And now we have to use the line that we're on. So poor line for November, severe line for the mild zone, and so on. So, and he rolled a 1, 3, 1. So in the cold zone, it's fair. In the warm zone, it's fair. And in the severe zone, in the mild zone, it's poor. So interesting weather. Too bad I can't really do anything with it because I don't have anything going on in the Soviet Union. But there you have it. That was September and October of 1943. You know, as I stated, I played so very, very badly as the British. I basically allowed him to conquer England, and subsequently then lost the Middle East and Kuwait and everything. I did try to stop him as much as I could. He ended up taking Gibraltar by just overwhelming me because he had nothing else to do in 43 because there's no Russians. So I think ultimately him conquering Russia when he did was probably better for him than not. Even though he gave me back a bunch of territory, I think he can hold me off long enough to win the game because it's only going to July of 45. Anyway, that's Unconditional Surrender, Thousand Year Reich series, September 43 to October 43. As always, I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit the like button so that the YouTube algorithms can put this up towards the search in the search engines. When people come searching for Unconditional Surrender, they will find this. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.